Hello Nidorinas and Nidorinos, and welcome to Virbank City, where today the Fortree Flyers are going to challenge the Virbank Venom. Now the Flyers are going to have that speed advantage as they usually do, and they're going to start out with Mandibuzz and Corviknight, whereas the Virbank Venom are going to start out with Venusaur and Toxtricity, and Toxtricity, as always, is in its low-key form, because its amped form counterpart is a member of the Lumiose Lightning. Now let us know in the comments below who you think is going to win today, the Virbank Venom or the Fortree Flyers. As I said, that speed advantage is going to go to Mandibuzz of the Fortree Flyers, and it's going to start off with a Sludge Wave, which is going to hit everyone on the field except for its teammate Corviknight, because Corviknight is immune to poison type attacks as it is a steel type. Now, it wasn't very effective on Toxtricity there. And we get a Defog though coming from Venusaur. Venusaur actually being quicker than Corviknight. Corviknight's actually the slowest Pokemon on the Fortree Flyers. The only Pokemon on that side with a speed base below 80. Water Spout now coming from Toxtricity is going to hit Mandibuzz and Corviknight. Very decent hit there by Toxtricity. We got that stored power now coming from Corviknight. It's responding to Toxtricity with that attack. Doesn't do a great deal of damage, even though it was super effective. Now, as always, this is a 6-on-6 Metronome battle, and if we hit that 20-minute time limit, we will go into single battle overtime. Mandibuzz now. It's going to go with the Gastro Acid, going for more poison type attacks. Now that will suppress Toxtricity's ability there. Doesn't do any offensive damage. As we get a Wish coming from Venusaur. See that shooting star go across the sky. We'll see if that Wish comes through in a number of turns. Toxtricity needs to take advantage of its electric typing. So that goes with a Court Change, but that will fail. Corviknight now. It's going to go with the Psychic Terrain. Now this will give the Psychic type moves a boost, which the Fortree Flyers should try and capitalize on, as the Virbank Venom are vulnerable to Psychic type attacks. Now Virbank Venom are sitting in third place. They've won their last 2 games, so they have a very good place in leading in to the trials at the end of the season. They need to maintain this though, and that Fissure from Mandibuzz will be avoided by Toxtricity. Venusaur goes with a Scale Shot multi-hit move, and it's going to go for Mandibuzz. Gets 2 hits. Gets 3. Gets 3 hits this time. Doesn't get all 5. And with that, Venusaur's defense will lower, but its speed will lift. Toxtricity now. Going to go with the Sucker Punch, but that will fail. It fails every time here in the Elite Challenge League. Now Corviknight's going to go with the Syrian Shot. This hits everybody on the field. Super effective on Venusaur. But Venusaur's Wish will come true, and it gets its health restored. Almost taking it back to 100%. But as I said, Virbank Venom is sitting in third. They have quietly been a very successful team this season. And if they get the win today, they could potentially climb into the third. And Venusaur goes for a Fissure of its own. But the Fortree Flyers, the whole team are immune to ground type attacks, as we get a Cross Chop coming from Mandibuzz. Going for Venusaur there. Not very effective though, as Toxtricity sets up for its turn. Toxtricity is going to go with an Explosion. It is going to impact everybody on the field and take out Toxtricity itself. And what a way to change the complexion of this matchup, as Toxtricity eliminates itself, but also eliminates its teammate in Venusaur. It does take down Mandibuzz with it, but that move was not very effective on Corviknight, only taking it down into the yellow. Now Corviknight just needs to do an explosion of its own, but goes for a Night Slash. There's nobody for it to hit. But just like that, the entire complexion of this matchup changes, as Archeops comes out for the Fortree Flyers, and we have Nidoking coming on to the field for the Virbank Venom, and it's going to be joined by Tentacruel. Just like that, things change when you see a move like Explosion. Archeops now is going to be the quickest Pokemon on the field. And it's going to go with a Magical Leaf. Targeting Tentacruel with that attack. Tentacruel's poison typing, preventing that move from being super effective over its water typing. As Tentacruel sets up for a Sky attack, we'll see this move take impact on the next turn as those wings take flight into the sky. Nidoking now. One of the most fantastic Pokemon you will ever find. Goes with a Trick or Treat. It's going to add the Ghost type into Archeops. So Archeops is now immune to normal and fighting type attacks. As Corviknight goes with the Grassy Glide, another grass type move coming from the Fortree Flyers, and goes for Nidoking with that attack, which again would have been super effective on the ground typing, but the poison typing prevents that from being the case. Archeops now. It's gonna go with an explosion of its own. Saw Toxtricity already do this. Wow, that is amazing to see that again. And Archeops has eliminated itself. And it's not very effective on Corviknight. So Corviknight survives another explosion as Nidoking and Tentacruel are eliminated. That's 4 Pokemon from the side of the Virbank Venom taken down by explosion, and 2 from the Flyers taken down by... Once Corviknight goes with Autotomize. So Corviknight has survived 2 explosions as it boosts its speed here on the field. And that Psychic Terrain leaves. But unbelievable, I cannot believe that Corviknight is still out on the field as we have Salamence coming on for the Fortree Flyers. Drapion comes out for the Virbank Venom and is going to be joined by Nidoqueen here replacing Nidoking. Salamance's Intimidate is going to lower the attack stat of Nidoqueen and Drapion, but we have seen 2 explosions and Corviknight is somehow still standing. Now this is what the Fortree Flyers need. They're sitting 10th, and if they win today they could jump into the 8th. And they've got very good chances with the way they're going. Now Corviknight is the quickest Pokemon on the field thanks to that Autotomize. Goes with a peck onto Drapion there. Salamence is going to follow it up and it's going to go with a Cross Chop. Hitting Nidoqueen with that attack. It's not very effective but gets a decent hit. And Drapion goes with the Tickle. It's going to lower the attack and defense of Corviknight with that move. Now, if Corviknight takes any damage, you got to think it's going to be eliminated now. So we get a Sunny Day being set up by Nidoqueen. It's going to turn that Sunlight harsh and allow anyone who goes for a Solar Blade or Solar Beam to hit that move in 1 turn. But I cannot believe Corviknight's still standing. Like I said, Fortree Flyers sit in 10th. If they get the win here today, they could jump into the 8th. So Corviknight standing strong is helping the Fortree Flyers immensely. As we get a Bug Buzz now coming from Corviknight. Goes for Nidoqueen with that move. It's not very effective though. A Salamence. Goes with a Head Charge. It's going to get some recoil damage from this, but it goes for Nidoqueen with the attack. And a very good hit, taking Nidoqueen down into the red. Drapion now. Let's hope we don't see another explosion. It's going to go with a Slack Off, so it's just going to restore its health here. Be very unfortunate if the Virbank Venom all get eliminated by the explosions. Nidoqueen now. It's just hanging on here. It's going to go with a Syrian Shot. Now this is also going to hit everyone on the field. We saw it do it earlier and it tags Corviknight out. It's super effective on Corviknight, but it was a critical hit on Drapion, more importantly, and it takes Drapion down into the red. This is terrible for the Virbank Venom. They have 2 Pokemon left and they are both in the red. Whereas the Fortree Flyers have got 3 left, and one of them is the pseudo-legendary Salamence. We have Hawlucha now come out for the Fortree Flyers. This is not good for the Virbank Venom, as the Fortree Flyers set up with Hawlucha. Now having the speed advantage, and goes with a Crush Claw, but thankfully Nidoqueen avoids that attack. Salamence, though, has its opportunity to do damage, and it's going to go with a Dragon Tail. It's going to get that stab boost, and it will eliminate Nidoqueen from this matchup. Drapion is the last remaining Pokemon for the Virbank Venom. Drapion now is going to go with a Charge Beam, but Hawlucha avoids that attack. Drapion being at a massive disadvantage, 3-1, and it doesn't have the speed to help it. Hawlucha now. It's going to set up Toxic Spikes on the side of the Virbank Venom, so it doesn't go for an offensive move, and no one else is going to come out to the side of the Virbank Venom to feel those Toxic Spikes. Salamence now. It's going to go with a Mist Ball, but it doesn't affect Drapion, so Drapion's still hanging on here. And it's going to go with a Geomancy, so it doesn't go for an offensive move, which is what it needs to do. It needs to capitalize when the Fortree Flyers don't attack. We're going to see Hawlucha again go first, as nobody's speed changed. Fortree Flyers need to finish off Drapion here, and Hawlucha's going to go with the Hydro Pump. This should get the job done. And that is it. Drapion has been eliminated. The Fortree Flyers have gotten a powerful victory here today. Thanks in large part to Corviknight withstanding 2 explosions. Here's the first one. That first one being done by Toxtricity, taking out Mandibuzz and Venusaur. So that was a terrible start for the Venom, taking out their own Pokemon. And that is not what the Venom want. Next week, they've actually got a huge, huge challenge because they're going to have no type of advantage next week when they go to Olivine City and face the Olivine Ore, the first place Olivine Ore, who are immune to poison type attacks. So Virbank Venom need a much better performance than they had here today. After we had Nidoking and Tentacruel taken down by Archeops's explosion. Again, Corviknight surviving 2 explosions, coming down to that Syrian shot from Nidoqueen. But the Fortree Flyers, huge win today. Next week they're going to go to Lumiose City and face the Lumiose Lightning, who have been on an unbelievable losing streak. So we'll see if the Fortree Flyers can capitalise and add to that and try and guarantee their spot in the trials at the end of this season. Lucha finishing off Draco with that Hydro Pop, a massive win by the Fortree Flyers. But Nidorinos, thank you so much for watching. Let us know in the comments below who you thought was best on field. And if you like what you saw, leave a like, share, subscribe. But more importantly, always remember, you are awesome, and I will speak to you next time.